Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and we are in the 3.5 Monster Manual, and we are getting close to the end here. We're on the Worg. So the Worg is essentially a medium creature. It's the size of a wolf, but it's got like intelligent eyes, and it's mean. It's got a malevolent look to it. They hunt in packs usually. They have gray or black fur, and they can grow up to about 5 foot long and maybe be 3 foot tall at the shoulder, 300 pounds. More intelligent than normal wolves. They speak their own language, and some can also speak Common and Goblin. So I did not have a lot of good choices for this, but I dug through and I found a broken miniature from Mage Knight, the old Mage Knight game, and he's missing an ear. So we can use this guy, and we can either leave the ear off or replace it. I think I'd like to make a little replacement ear for him, though, and to do that, I think what the simplest thing to be would be to get a piece of a toothpick and to snip it up. Might be the easiest way. So first thing I want to do is I want to kind of cut into this like that, and then I want to cut the piece off that I need, and that's going to be my replacement piece. And to mount that, I'm just going to get a little bit of glue, mostly a big long string of glue, I guess, and put that where it goes. Oh, that didn't work. All right, hold on. I have 10 foot of string here. Okay, I'm going to get my minor burning hand spell out. Just reheat that quickly and stick that on. All right, and that looks like an adequate replacement. Then I'm going to get some super glue. I'm just going to use this lid I have sitting here. I'm going to get a little bit of super glue and another toothpick. I'm going to get some connection there. Oh, hell, I knocked it right off, didn't I? Of course I did. All right, hold on. Let's just do it this way. Okay. See if we can get it to hold that way. Maybe we can. Okay. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of glue on there, or a little baking soda on there to get it to hold while I'm trying to work on it. All right, where's that toothpick at? There we go. Now, this got a little bit of a hold to it. We're just going to get a little bit on there. Whoops. Okay. Let's see how sturdy that is. Not as sturdy as I'd like it to be. All right, no problem. I'm going to get a little more glue. I'm going to rub it up and down on that stick and make sure I have plenty of good surface to connect. And this will also add a little texture to that ear. Okay, let's try that. Let's hope that's sturdy now. Yeah, that's sturdy. That's now his forever home. All right, well, that was an easy fix. Thank God. That could have been way worse. All right, so let me make a spot to work here, and let's see if we can get this dude on the base. And to get him on the base, got a little bit of super glue on the table there. Wipe off my super glue with that. All right, to get him on the base, I'm just going to get... He's been mounted before. I don't... Oh, well, he was on a Hero Mage Knight base. Okay. I'm going to get a tiny couple dabs of glue. And I'm going to set him where I want him. And just kind of let him sit for a minute. Okay. Now I want to make sure he's sturdy, so I'm going to go in here on the sides. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of super glue down on the base. And then come back with some baking soda. And this will be his final home. In theory, and only in theory, he won't move after that. No, he's good and sturdy. Okay, nice. This is actually a pretty cool mini. I hate to, if I'd have had this in perfect shape and stuff, it could have just been kind of painted up and used like that, but I had to fix it. And I think he'll be good for an org. Now I want to tell you, there's a weird like string hanging down right here, and I could fill that in with hot glue, but I think what I want to do is just snip that off. There we go. Nice. All right. So it's cold in here, and I don't think spray paint is going to be ideal for base coating. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some black craft paint and try to do this the best I can. So I have a soft plastic bristle brush, and this paint's pretty damp, and I'm just going to get in here and paint him all black. Since he's already kind of black, we lucked out because we don't have to do a great job painting him. We can be lazy. Now these little poker chips that I used for bases now, I got these from a little set at Goodwill or somewhere like that. Or no, it was a thrift store out in Amish country when I was on my way back for one of my sites, and this was like $1.50 or $1 or something, and it had a bunch of these bases in it that are real sturdy and good. So I grabbed those up. They're 1 inch. They're perfect for mediums. And a lot of the basing I do, I don't buy real bases. I either use just Dungeon Swag bases, which are clear 1 inch bases, or I do, you know, something random crap like this. And that's kind of my shtick with basing. You could buy official bases, I suppose. I just don't. Like, I do everything kind of cheap, so... Well, I do everything cheap. If you guys watch, you know I'm cheap as S-H-I-T. So let's hit him with a hot air gun. Yeah, I can't believe I don't have any like little wolves this size from like Michael's or the Dollar Tree or something. I just had nothing that was a medium. I had a bunch of stuff that was large, but nothing medium at all. It blows my mind. You think for as long as I've been collecting crap, I'd have it all. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my favorite color in the whole world, pavement. And I'm going to go ahead and get a soft makeup brush from the Dollar Tree, something like this. And I'm going to come on here. I'm going to wipe a lot of that off on my cardboard. And I'm going to hit him with that. And it says they're usually black or gray, so I'm going to do mine a dark gray. And you could probably stop right there if you wanted to. Do the base, some eyes and a mouth, and be done. But since I got to make this format a little more interesting, we're going to dry him off and hit him with a coat of something else, too. Sorry, guys. Got to do my due diligence here. All right, for the next thing, I have a color called dark blue gray somewhere over here. And I'm going to wipe the rest of that gray out of my brush the best I can. Then I'm going to use a little dab of that. And this will give them an interesting kind of blue tone, I hope. Maybe, somehow. Sweet. All right, I'm done with that. All right, let's look at them. The base is probably the next thing to paint if I'm smart. So let me grab my brush. In dark brown, this is burnt umber. It's just from Walmart. It's a cheapy paint. I buy these bigger tubes of brown, black, and sometimes other colors. I have green right now, but it varies. Sometimes it's dark blue, whatever they have, and I see it, and I'm like, oh, I could use a bunch of that. And then I buy it, you know. Because in the long run, having like a bunch of something you use a lot, and it comes in a cheaper and like a bigger container, you know what I mean? Really excited. On the Dungeon Swag website, the Heroes box should be up today if it's not already up. And I have put together a 10-piece heroic Beastman box, and it's pretty sick. I'm not going to lie, I had a lot of trouble narrowing it down to 10 Beastmen because we have so many amazing Beastmen. But I will tell you, I think my favorites are the Bearmen. The Werebear people are super good. I don't know what the price point on that box is going to be yet. We have to talk about it. It's pretty expensive to print because I don't know, for those of you that get our minis, you know, but for those of you that don't, we use a really high quality resin that bends and flexes. It's pretty much indestructible. I'm not advocating to throw it on the ground and try to break it, but it's good stuff, and it's expensive. So printing these kind of boxes, we're probably not going to be able to generate too much of a profit on these to put them at a fair price point. But, you know, we go for the fair price point because we don't want to be like Wizards or Hasbro, you know what I mean? We don't want to be like these other companies that are making miniatures, you know, gate kept by price. Games Workshop, you guys are guilty of that. You would probably sell a lot more if you dropped your prices down and made your shit affordable. But greed often blinds wise choices from the site. Okay. Yeah, the Beast Pack is awesome. Now this one, the Beast Pack, usually Scorbik and I work together to create the packs. The Beast Pack is a full Doom shit I need on my table now kind of box. All right, let's do some claw work here. On his claws, I have a metallic black. If you don't, that's fine, but I do, so I'm going to use that, and I think it's going to look nice. So I'm going to get a small brush, and I'm going to do all these claws up with it. And my brush is just a little bit damp. And he's got quite a few claws here. Now, one of the things is with these Mage Knight miniatures is they are not super realistic. They're a little goofy looking. By the way, heating them up as much as I heated this guy up made his arms super brittle. But when it cools, it should be, you know, it should be okay. So like right now, I can actually move it with my brush a little bit. See that? Oh, it's already starting to cool. Okay, so I just did those nails up real quick. And when those dry, those are going to look fine. I'm going to get the same brush and rinse it out real good in my dirty paint water from yesterday because I am super lazy. And let's start looking at that mouth. So the first thing we want to do in that mouth is we want to get in there with a pink. And then we can darken that up later. So I'm going to get in here and paint his tongue. Carefully. I got some on his tooth there, and that's okay because we're going to be painting those teeth. See, I got some on that tooth there, but that's all right. Now, we're going to dry that. And then I would like to use a speed paint here, but I realize a lot of people don't have speed paint, so we're not going to do that. I'm going to bring my cardboard up, We're going to get a little bit of this flag red here. And some paint water, some dirty paint water. And then we're going to reach into that mouth and hit that with that dirty paint water. And that might get a little bit more of that red. Now I hit that tongue again. A little thicker. Getting that mouth a little bit darker. Something like that. Okay. And when that dries, it'll be, you'll be able to work with it. So to make sure that it dries, grab another hit with the +2 hot air gun of burning. And let's hit these teeth with a khaki color. This color is actually called khaki. It's from Walmart. Most of these paints, I think everything I'm using so far is from Walmart. But yeah. Now you want to be careful with this. You don't want an enormous amount of paint on your brush, and you want to have some control. So what I'm doing is dragging this along those teeth, just like that, very carefully, and just grabbing the outline of them. And if it's a little black on the inside still, that's okay. I'm not going to sweat that. I'm going to leave it, because you really don't want to put yourself in a situation where you have to go back and do a bunch of cleanup on your dark. So I'm just lining out the bottom of that mouth. There's no teeth there that I can see. So I'm just simulating those teeth by dragging a really fine line of tan along there. And see, I got some on the face, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of cleanup there. But that's okay. A little bit of cleanup's okay. I don't know if you can see, these teeth are very small. And right there, I hit some black and got to clean that up. I could probably leave it no notice, honestly. I'm going to lighten up those eyes while I'm here. Let me get in there. Now, I'll tell you, with those eyes, you could easily come back in on those eyes with a black and outline them and fix up any mistakes you make. This is called antique parchment, but I'm going to dry him off first, and then we're going to make those teeth look a little gooder. All right, so with this antique white, just like how I wiped a lot of the khaki out of the brush, I'm going to get it just on the tip of my brush, and I'm going to wipe a lot of that out. And then I'm just going to so carefully hit those teeth again, but I don't want to cover up all my khaki work. So I'm just going to lightly drag it along until they look a little lighter and along the edges and outside, just like that. And like I said, there are no teeth on the bottom. So instead of playing with that outline, I'm going to leave it go. Okay. Oh, we can use this white for that to lighten the eyes up a little bit better. That's way too much paint. There we go. So this one's kind of deep and awkward. And these sculpts are not real consistent. Across this line, some of the sculpts are really terrible, and some of them are okay. And there's a very few amount of the Mage Knight sculpts that were actually super good. I don't know where I got this one. I think I got it from my friend Sam. He had quite a few Mage Knight things that he gave me. All my Mage Knight stuff that I had bought when the game launched got lost in a house fire in 2001. This is when I was in the Army. We lost everything we owned. It was terrible. All right, so I'm going to get that red that I had earlier. Well, let me switch to a smaller brush. I'm going to use a fractional brush for this. I'm going to get that red we had earlier, and I'm going to just pull out an iris on this guy on both sides. And I'm going to get some black paint. Let me dry him off first before I open this black. I got a brush in my mouth, so just bear with me. Okay. Now this is black, and we're going to use this for a couple little things real quick. One, I'm going to do a little cleanup around his face where I don't like how much I touched white. I just did it on that side. And then I'm going to clean up around his eye, underneath it. There we go. I'm going to do that on both sides. And just clean that up with a smooth, nice curve under there. Okay, and then I'm going to do above his eyes a little bit too, because somehow I got white up there on that side. Clean those eyes up. And I'm going to get a little bit of that paint and I'm going to wipe off my brush. And I'm going to dab a dot on that iris. Or on that, yeah, iris. Just a tiny dot on that red. There we go. Alright. Can't even tell that's a toothpick instead of his ear, really. Turned out pretty good. I do think we should lighten him up with one more dry brush on his shoulders, top of his ears and head, and maybe on his butt. Clean out my brush. And I'm going to grab a makeup brush to do that. Something soft from the Dollar Tree. And this is called Elephant Gray. And man, do we want to be careful with this, or we will lighten him up way too much. So I'm going to get a dab on there. And do we just barely need the least amount of paint possible on this, I'm telling you. Okay, hit the ears. Just drag it along the shoulders against the grain lightly. Across his butt. And I'm going to hit that tail a little bit. Actually, you know, that doesn't look bad on him in general. Might not be hurtful to just kind of give him a little once over real lightly with it. Alright, there's my Worg. I do want to paint the base around the outside in black, so I'm going to grab up my black back out. And I'm just going to use this small brush that I have, the size 1, the starter brush that I have sitting here. I think that'll be fine for this. But I do really like these Mage Knights, and there's like a good history of Mage Knight before Hasbro got a hold of them. For those of you that are younger and don't remember Mage Knight, I think it's back out now. I think they do release some Mage Knight stuff, but it's essentially fantasy hero clicks. And it came with these little chests that you could twist a knob on and change the loot in them. And it was neat. It was a neat little game. It wasn't so much fun to play. It was a cheap way to get minis back then. But it was a cool game, and if I had had the focus to try to learn it and play it all the time, I think we just did some quick matches and called it a win, if I remember correctly. A good friend of mine, Chaz, and I tried it. He's no longer with us, but he served with me, and he was just a phenomenal man who I love very much and miss. Very strong man, a patriot, good dude. I'll probably miss him forever. I don't know if this is weird, but sometimes I actually message him funny shit on Facebook even though I know he's gone. Like send him memes about D&D and stuff. We were close. When my older sons were little, they called him Uncle Chaz. So, I mean, he wasn't just like a buddy. He was like at our house. He was a staple in our home. He was a single dude and lived in the barracks. So on most holidays when he didn't go home, he was with us, and he was at our house every weekend for D&D and stuff. So, I mean, he was like a very integral part of our family unit. And, yeah, and when he passed, I drove down to Louisiana with my 2 older sons, and it was a long drive, but it was worth every second of that drive to be there and to send him off. And yeah, Well, you guys know how it is. The older you get, the more you lose, right? All right, so that's my work. I don't think I'm going to do any flocking on that base. I don't think it really needs it. It's not going to add much to the miniature. It might. I don't know. We could just do... It's kind of hard to get in there, and I don't want to make a mess. But that's my work. I'm pretty happy with it. I hope you guys are too. I hope you guys found something in your box that you can make a warg out of. And that simple paint job is okay, but there's one thing I don't like. Those teeth are just a little too bright. Sorry. I know. Why, Doom? Why? Well... Why not? I haven't used speed paint up to this point, but instead of making a thin yellowish brown wash and just dragging it over those tiny teeth, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a little bit of the speed paint on the cardboard here. Usually don't use speed paint on cardboard because if it absorbs in, it becomes a little unmanageable. And I'm going to thinly drag out just a little teeny bit of that. And then with this plastic brush, I'm just going to drag it across those teeth ever so lightly and let it soak in to that dry paint. I'm much happier with that. That looks a lot better to me. Let me get right here by the tongue. That's a little bright yet. All right, cool. All right, so I'm Doom. This is the Worg. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon, comment. Oh, look, there's a piece of something down here. See if we can pull it off. Here we go. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff. Go to the website, buy some miniatures. Not these miniatures, the Dungeon Swag miniatures. These high quality, beautifully detailed, sturdy, good resin printed miniatures. They're just absolutely beautiful. I have another one sitting here that I've been in the middle of painting for like a month that I just haven't got around to finishing. But I just love these, and look at that. Wing, 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 wing. They're amazing miniatures. And we're not Hasbro. We're not Games Workshop. We're two guys in our basements and garages trying to build a business. So please buy our miniatures, not theirs, down with the corporate establishment. And that sounded really preachy. Come join our Discord. Last night we did the second part of Doom Venture. It's a RPG type game I'm running on the Discord server. Right now we're running on Saturday evenings. That is subject to change, but it seems like Saturday night we're getting some attendance. So I'll be running that every week as long as I can stand to. And then I'll take a break and maybe somebody else will run it for a while if I'm lucky. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. How do I stop this thing today?